Welcome to the Dungeons & Dragons starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands. This is an adventure in a box, providing everything you and your group needs for a night of D&D. In Heroes of the Borderlands, you'll find dense wilderness to explore, dark caves of chaos to brave, and a keep to rest and interact with the locals in. This is a sandbox experience where adventures can take place in any order, and you'll have fun telling your own unique story with your friends. Let's show you how to get ready and set up the game. First, you'll see the Quick Start Guide. This is where you will quickly start to choose roles, make characters, and just start playing. Take out the 3 adventure booklets. The Dungeon Master, who we'll talk about later, uses these to run the adventure in this set. Place them nearby. The Play Guide is your source for all the rules if you or anyone else has questions while playing. Set it aside as well in case you need to reference it later. Take out all the tokens and dice and let's take a closer look. General tokens, which should be placed on the table accessible to everyone, include hit point tokens, gold piece tokens, player character tokens, power tokens, and gem tokens. Dungeon Master only tokens include the terrain tokens and monster tokens. You can set those aside for now. Pull out the class boards and separate them by their class type: Cleric, Fighter, Rogue, and Wizard. Players will use class boards to quickly create their adventurer. You have 8 double-sided class boards covering classes from levels 1 to 3. Finally, separate the cards by type and keep them nearby for player access. These include equipment cards, spell cards, species cards, and background cards. Separately set aside for the Dungeon Master's access, the monster cards, magic item cards, and NPC cards. Finally, pass out one on-your-turn card to each player, which provides them with a menu of action options during play. Additionally, there are some other components only for the Dungeon Master. These include maps and handouts. Set them aside for one of the players who will take on that role. Next, it's time to choose your role for your first session. 2 to 4 people will play the heroes of this adventure, known as characters, while one lucky player takes on the role of Dungeon Master, known as the DM. First, let's take a look at what you're going to do if you're playing a character. To make a character, start by grabbing any of the 4 level 1 class boards of your choice. For example, we'll take this Cleric board. Next, choose an origin for your character by selecting a species and a background card from their respective decks. For this character, we're choosing the Acolyte background card and Dwarf species card. Then gather the character components. There are 2 what you need to play boxes for this character, one at the bottom left of the Cleric class board and another on the Acolyte background card. For this character, we need these additional components: a chain shirt equipment card, a mace equipment card, 11 spell cards, 8 for the Cleric and 3 for the Acolyte background, and 60 gold pieces worth of gold piece tokens. On your character's class board, you'll find a hit point maximum. Place hit point tokens equal to this number on the board. If your board or other cards requires power tokens, place them on those spaces. For this character, we also need to put 1 power token on the Acolyte card and 2 on the Dwarf card. Finally, give your character a name and introduce them to your fellow players. Next, let's look at the Dungeon Master's role. They'll be the keeper of the adventure booklets. If you are newer to or rusty to D&D, the Dungeon Master should start with the Wilderness booklet, which provides a perfect open exploration sandbox for your first game night. During play, DMs gather components listed in various What You Need to Play boxes found throughout the adventure booklet. It's that easy. Go forth, explore gnarled forests and looted wagons. Fight or flee from bandits and other nefarious enemies. Feel free to learn as you go, and if you're ever lost, the Play Guide contains informative diagrams of the components of this set and of the fundamentals of D&D. Additionally, the back of the Play Guide has a rules glossary of game terms to help with quick reference and so you sound cool with the lingo. If you want more guidance on how to actively play Dungeons & Dragons starter set, Heroes of the Borderlands, check out the How to Play video for a guided introduction to play. And have fun!